Nuszkowski. I'm the founder and executive director of MoGo. We are Metro Detroit's nonprofit bike share system that often surprises people because they think that we're a company, but we're a nonprofit organization founded by folks here in Detroit. And so we have 75 bike share stations like you see right here around greater downtown Detroit, plus the Livernois and McNichols corridors in northwest Detroit, and then 5 suburban communities: Ferndale, Royal Oak, Oak Park, Berkeley, and Huntington Woods. And we're all about getting people to think about how they move around their communities differently. So we live in the Motor City, which has often been, known for its strong relationship with the car. And while cars certainly aren't bad, we're just trying to get people to think about how they can maybe replace some of those shorter distance car trips with a bike trip. It's healthier for you as an individual, healthier for communities, reduces traffic and congestion. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 3.5 years.
Tell us a little bit about how MoGo discovered solar, and how you guys went about deciding to get it installed for your stations, and how it aligns with your mission as a nonprofit transportation group.
Yeah, so we did a lot of study on the different companies that offer bike share products, and we went with the station-based model because we really like the consistency and reliability that offers. So people here who live in the North End at Brush and Bethune or nearby, you can walk out to a station and the chance that a bike is going to be here is greater than 99%. Our team does an awesome job making sure bikes are available. So we went with the station-based model, and we also wanted to have some flexibility. So let's say there are going to be renovations made on this park, or there's a construction project that happens on the street. Solar power and battery power allows us the opportunity to be able to move the station and adjust as needed. Whereas if you were to hardwire the stations into, a power grid, then we would have to, it costs that much more to install it, that much more to, take it out if we need to shift it, or if we decide, hey, guess what? There's, a better place, on the other side of the street on the opposite corner, then we have the flexibility to be able to move that. So I think just from a operational standpoint, that makes a lot of sense. But also it's just, we don't need to be taking any more power. This is a people-powered, really literally a human-powered transportation, system, right? I mean, you get on a bike, you pedal the bike and go. And so I feel like we wanted our stations to support that as well. And so they're all solar powered and battery powered. So it's, soaking up the sun right now. It has a battery inside the kiosk. During the winter, when we get less sun, we swap out the batteries a little bit more frequently. But other than that, we haven't had any issues with our system. So none of them are hardwired, and we just think it was the right move for us, and wanting to have as small a footprint environmentally as possible, and have the biggest impact in terms of reducing CO2 and getting people healthier and active. And when you look at the stations themselves, the fact that they are solar and battery powered was really a huge plus for us, because even though it wasn't the thing that drove our total decision, it was a factor because now we don't have to worry about monthly, utility costs to power each one of the stations. And as we expand, that cost would just, continue to increase. So, being able to rely on just the solar battery powered stations themselves and not to have those additional costs definitely helps us as a nonprofit organization, because those costs are highly unpredictable. And so that's one element we can take out of the equation, and instead use the savings that we have there to make sure that we're providing a great service, to make sure that we're doing programming, to make sure we're offering, equitable, accessible, affordable options for people. And so I really feel like those are savings that are producing results for the community.
From the perspective of MoGo bikes, like how do you guys feel like solar would benefit the Detroit community, and how might we explain to the community that solar is more accessible than we might think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great example of like, it's relatively small, right? I mean, we've just got a couple of panels here on our station, but it's able to power an entire station. And that's part of a network of stations that are entirely powered by solar. And so I think that, you often think about these as having to be like large scale projects, when there could be smaller scale projects that could just be having, an impact on one station or solar on one home or, one piece of property that could have a big impact. And we certainly have plenty of land here in Detroit. I think that could be purposed for, helping to meet more sustainable energy needs here in the city. So we're just one tiny part of that with our stations, but hope, that it's an example for others to think of, and that, if we're a nonprofit and we can do that, I feel like there's a real opportunity for businesses and real estate developers to consider incorporating solar into their projects. Because if we can find a way to make it work, I feel like others can too. I think, being relatively new, coming into solar with this project, I think we've all learned a lot in terms of how we can best place our stations to maximize the energy that we're getting to power the stations themselves, and to maximize operations throughout the year, whether it's sunny, cloudy, hot or cold. And so we've learned a lot from that. And I just feel like if we're able to learn from these experiences, that there's a lot of opportunity for others to too. And I would just recommend really thinking about building this into your project, like not necessarily as an add-on, but this was just a part of what we did. It wasn't sort of something that like, oh, it would be nice if we could also do it. It was just built right into the project from the onset. And so I think planning for it that way, and then being able to raise funding for it in that way, really makes a huge difference, because then you just want to be able to launch and get whatever your project is going. And if you don't have the funding for that tends to be something that can just fall to the wayside. So I think that having us, really trying to think about sustainability across multiple realms, right? Not only that we're financially sustainable, but that we're sustainable for our communities, we're sustainable for the environment. And I think that solar certainly plays a big role in that. And so we're excited to be, using this type of technology here in Detroit. And again, hopefully others will take, a little bit of inspiration from this, and all the other great work that's happening around in the city. Like I said, we're just one tiny part of that. But think about ways that through your work, you can do work that's more sustainable for individuals and communities, and energy plays a big role in that. So we're glad to be doing our small part.